I think this is crazy, right? At this point, you're in the 5th round. I understand you had higher hopes, but you've dropped to the 5th round, and you're thinking about being a starting quarterback the next year. I think this is incredibly short-sighted. Like, if you're in this situation, you want to go to an organization that is going to develop you, right? Here you have the Baltimore Ravens, the model of stability in the NFL. This regime's been together for how many decades now? And actually has a track record to develop quarterbacks. Joe Flacco, Lamar, right? Instead, you choose the Cleveland Browns because you think you have a chance to start the next year.
The NFL thought it had Shedeur Sanders all locked in until he hit them with the coldest move of the year. He laughed, waved them off, and swiped left on the Ravens like they were some weak Tinder match. Now the league is scrambling for answers. Fans are losing their voices from screaming online, and haters, they're throwing digital tantrums loud enough to break Wi-Fi routers. Why would Shedeur turn down what so many players dream about? What kind of secret game plan is he hiding? This isn't just football anymore. It's a full-blown soap opera. And the next chapter is about to get even messier. Shedeur Sanders just dropped a bomb on the NFL that had Twitter trolls clutching their chests like they saw a ghost. The Ravens came in grinning, ready to hand him the crown, the kingdom, and the keys to the city. But Shedeur, he looked them dead in the eye and said, "Nah, I'm good." Slammed the door in their faces with the kind of casual disrespect.
Reached the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens were planning to select Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round with the 141st overall selection. But when he found out, he got word back to the Ravens that he preferred not to go to a place where he would be competing and backing up Lamar Jackson. He wanted to be in a place that he could play. And so when the Ravens got that message, they pivoted, went a different direction with the 141st overall selection. And 3 picks later, the Cleveland Browns selected Shedeur Sanders, who will be in Baltimore today, where he could have been spending his NFL career if he were willing to back up.
That makes executives spill their Starbucks all over their $2,000 suits. Instantly, chaos erupted. The type of chaos that feels less like football and more like some scandal cooked up by reality TV writers desperate for ratings. And the haters, oh, they're exploding, typing novels in all caps, pounding their keyboards, screaming that Shedeur made the biggest mistake of his life. To them, turning down the Ravens is like refusing a golden invitation to Buckingham Palace. But let's be real, what's Baltimore's palace these days? More like a backyard barbecue with broken folding chairs, cheap beer, and potato salad that's been baking in the sun since last weekend. Meanwhile, Shedeur looks like the calmest man alive. While NFL analysts are melting under studio lights trying to explain the impossible, he's somewhere kicked back, sipping something icy, scrolling through memes, and laughing at how mad everybody is. The man just turned chaos into comedy, and the league doesn't know whether to panic or applaud. This is not a man losing sleep over some middle-aged dude crying into his fantasy league stats. Shedeur isn't begging for approval from the couch coaches of the world. He's flipping the whole game upside down. Instead of playing along, he hit Baltimore with a plot twist so savage, it left their entire front office looking like they just got dumped right before prom.
Shedeur Sanders could have been a Baltimore Raven. Ravens were actually going to draft him, and Shedeur made it known, nah, I'm not trying to play for the Ravens. You already got a star quarterback. I won't see the field. Ironically, if he did go to the Ravens, he'd be in the same situation, not playing. But do y'all think he made a mistake by doing that? Do you think he could have learned a lot being somewhere that wanted him? Being behind an all-time great, yes, all-time great in Lamar Jackson. Truthfully, I don't really know why this was announced now. I mean, I guess they're about to play, so I guess that's why. But I don't think it's a bad thing that Shedeur did.
Now they're scrambling to spin it, pretending they never wanted him in the first place, but everybody knows that's cap. That's basically the NFL version of saying, it's fine, I wasn't even into her anyway, while you're in the shower, ugly, crying to sad R&B. Meanwhile, the haters won't stop yapping. They're convinced he should have grabbed that deal, hugged it, kissed it, and called it sacred like it was the Holy Grail. But here's the truth. Shedeur ain't desperate. He's not some rookie crawling across broken glass just to throw on a Ravens jersey. He's got options and he knows it. And let's be real, there's comedy gold in how fast people flip the script. One moment, they're praising his talent, his poise, his future greatness. The next, bam, he says no to Baltimore. And suddenly he's branded a spoiled diva, a locker room nightmare, and the supposed villain of football's future. All this over one man daring to control his own destiny. The NFL has survived wars, scandals, and lockouts, but Shedeur Sanders telling the Ravens, no thanks? Oh, that's apparently the end of civilization. You can practically picture the haters now, sitting in dark basements, surrounded by empty Dorito bags, screaming into their headsets on live streams, demanding answers like, Shedeur personally ruined their lives.
Reportedly actively rejected the Ravens' efforts to draft him back in April. Let's talk about why. According to Adam Schefter, the Ravens wanted to select Shedeur with their 5th round 141st selection, where they ultimately took Carson Vincent, an offensive tackle, but Shedeur informed them that he was not interested in sitting behind Lamar Jackson in a situation where he had very little chance to play. And maybe that's not a ridiculous mindset to have as a first-round draft pick, but when you're sitting in the 5th, you should be jumping at the opportunity for any team to take you, much less one of the best-run organizations in sports that currently has one of the best quarterbacks.
He didn't just bruise the Ravens' ego, he stomped on it with a smile. Meanwhile, Shedeur is probably sitting back with popcorn, watching those same angry live streams like their comedy specials. You know he's bookmarking the wildest rants just to replay later and laugh even harder. He's living rent-free in their heads, and trust me, the lease isn't up anytime soon. The funniest part? The Ravens genuinely thought their offer was too good to refuse, like they were gifting him royalty treatment. But here's the truth. They wanted instant gratification. They wanted him to play their script, to be their shiny savior on command. Instead, Shedeur ripped up the script and started rewriting the whole movie. Let's keep it real. Baltimore isn't exactly the NFL's dream getaway these days. If you're young, talented, and know your worth, why chain yourself to a deal that smells more like mediocrity than legacy? Sure, Baltimore's got history, tradition, and fans who ride hard, but in 2025, they're not the Avengers anymore. They're more like a broken Justice League. Batman pawned the Batmobile, and Superman packed his bags for Miami. Shedeur sees that. He knows his ceiling isn't locked to one desperate franchise pitch. He's eyeing the bigger stage, where his future shines the brightest, where he builds his own empire, and where his legacy stacks higher than any short-term paycheck. And don't confuse that with arrogance.
But he's a Brown, 3rd string on the depth chart, Randy.
Shefty, I mean, the intrigue of Shedeur Sanders and the story of that weekend at the draft just sort of never ends. And so here we hear this, that he chose not to go to Baltimore. Teddy, reaction?
Yeah, you want to go somewhere where you compete to be a starter. That's me. I mean, I don't play quarterback, but I hear that. Listen, I just want to go to any team where I can compete being behind Lamar Jackson, or I just want to be a starter. Where can I compete to be a starter? I think that's what Shedeur was thinking there.
Does it make sense to you, Randy, for him to say, Lamar's there, he's going to be there for a decade, it's not a place I'm going to get a chance to play? Do you think it's a sensible choice?
Let me piggyback off of Teddy. You talk about Lamar Jackson's going to be probably retired with this organization. So if the backup does get in, he's in for garbage.
It's straight up strategy. The fact that so many people can't wrap their heads around it just proves they don't understand greatness when it's staring them in the face. Spoiler alert. It's genius, because no matter what happens next, Shedeur already won. He's got the entire league buzzing, flipped the narrative upside down, and showed everyone he's not here to play by their rules. He's here to rewrite them. He can't be boxed in, period. Let the haters fume, let them pound their keyboards until the letters fade, let them scream at the sky, and let them spin wild conspiracy theories about why anyone would ever dare reject the Ravens. Shedeur isn't here to fit their mold. He's here to break it into pieces. The reality is crystal clear. Shedeur is playing chess while the rest of the league is arguing over checkers. And when the smoke clears, when the shouting fades, he'll still be standing there cool as ever, with every option wide open and the entire NFL waiting to see his next move. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, you let him play in a preseason game, but why the hell would you let your 2-year developmental project that y'all said Shedeur was, because he was a 5th round pick, why would you put him in against 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson? 3-time MVP Lamar Jackson. They knew what was going to happen.
He doesn't owe the world an explanation. He doesn't have to beg for understanding. He just has to keep proving over and over that he's not just another draft pick. He's the storm that rewrites the weather report. Everyone's scrambling to predict the next twist, but the truth is, it's Shedeur who keeps flipping the script. He's the one bold enough to say no when the NFL machine expected him to nod and say yes. This isn't about riding the bench, holding a clipboard, or pretending to learn while someone else trips over their own shoelaces. No, this is about real game time. The kind of game time where you take hits, make plays, and shut down every critic who's been running their mouths since draft night. And here's the kicker, that rejection, that wasn't recklessness. It was a chess move so clean, so calculated, that even the Ravens had to lean back and admit, okay, maybe he's onto something.
Declining to play for the Baltimore Ravens. Gotta talk into Shedeur Sanders' response to it all, dog. Let's pull it up right now. Porter had asked Shedeur Sanders about the ESPN report. He stated, I didn't even know about it until you just told me. And then they asked, was he surprised by the report? He stated, it don't even serve purpose in my life. So that was Shedeur Sanders speaking about the incident that occurred this morning. And just like I stated, I recorded a video. Let's plug it in right now. Now, as the Cleveland Browns is set to face the Baltimore Ravens today, multiple things came out. Shedeur Sanders has been listed as inactive. And now we got Adam Schefter pretty much saying that Shedeur Sanders was supposed, yes, you're about to hear me, supposed to be a Baltimore Raven, but allegedly, I got to put a big allegedly on this. Allegedly, Coach Prime and Shedeur turned it down. They did not want to.
Shedeur isn't chasing approval. He's forcing the league to chase him. Because let's be real, Cleveland has been straight allergic to giving Shedeur a fair shot. They're the team staring at their beat-up jalopy with smoke pouring out the hood, saying, nah, it'll make it another mile? Instead of putting the brand new engine from the garage on the road, it makes 0 sense. You've got a quarterback dripping in raw talent, swagger, and the kind of electricity that can turn a dead stadium into a thunderstorm. And instead, they've got him bubble-wrapped like some fragile museum piece nobody's allowed to touch. Shedeur isn't a painting hanging in the corner. He's a firework ready to blast the night sky into chaos. And every week he's held back as another wasted chance at history.
The Baltimore Ravens were going to draft Shedeur Sanders with the 141st pick. And then when Shedeur and his camp found out about it, they told the Ravens no. Like they said, no, we want to go to a place where we have an actual chance of winning, or not necessarily winning, but winning the quarterback job and playing as a rookie, even though it was already in the 5th round. And obviously that would never happen with Lamar Jackson, with the 2-time MVP. He'll be the starter of the Ravens as long as he wants to be, essentially. And I'm kind of torn on this. As I wear my Shedeur Sanders shirt, I'm kind of torn because it's like, Shedeur, it's already the 5th round.
That's why the Ravens' offer stung so bad. It proves something Cleveland never dared to. Snaps, throws, impact, spotlight. Shedeur knew it, the fans knew it, and deep down the league knew it too. Baltimore basically said, here's the field, go make magic happen. And Shedeur, sharp as ever, recognized that this wasn't about chasing checks. It was about carving legacy into stone. Because let's not sugarcoat a thing. No matter how much cash Cleveland or any team tries to wave in his face, no star wants to rot on the sidelines while their career clock ticks down. This isn't some cushy 9-to-5 where you can coast at a desk until retirement. This is football, where the window is short, the spotlight is brutal, and every missed snap is another chance gone forever to prove you're the guy. And Shedeur, he's not trying to be the guy 3 years from now. He's trying to be that guy today. Think about it. Every legendary quarterback you remember didn't sit around politely waiting for their moment. They demanded it.
I don't know where to start, but let's talk about it. So now the conversation is why Shedeur didn't want to get drafted to Baltimore. Bro, y'all can't be serious, bro. Y'all really cannot be serious. All right, so let's talk about it. So I guess the Baltimore Ravens were going to draft Shedeur in the 5th round, right? They're going to draft him in the 5th round. And Shedeur just told him straight up, like, look, Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP. You know, this, that, and that. I don't have a shot at playing in Baltimore.
They stormed onto the field and declared, this is my team now. That's the same fearless energy Shedeur brings every single day. He doesn't need babysitting. He doesn't need to be wrapped in some year-long red shirt plan like a fragile rookie project. He needs the ball in his hands right now, and the chance to show why every defense in the league should be sweating bullets when they see him lining up under center. And let's not forget, the Ravens were dangling exactly that. Instant action, instant pressure, instant glory. The irony is almost too good. The same haters screaming that Shedeur messed up by rejecting Baltimore are the exact ones whining that Cleveland refuses to let him play. Do they even hear themselves?
Lamar Jackson. Guys, this is a major story. And what's crazy is, why are we just now hearing about this? Why is this just now coming out? Why is this even like this is just the draft was months ago, guys. Months ago. Why are we just now hearing this? I think it's a lie. I just got to be honest, guys. I think they lying. Now, I know Adam Schefter is very well respected by Coach Prime.
They want him to rot on the bench in Cleveland, but they're mad he turned down the one team ready to start him on day one. Somebody explain the logic because it doesn't exist. Shedeur's decision wasn't just about himself. It was a statement to the entire NFL. He's saying loud and clear, if you're not serious about letting me play, don't even bother knocking on my door. That's not arrogance, that's hunger. And hunger is what separates the good players from the great ones. Lesser players beg for roster spots. Shedeur demands impact. Lesser players sit politely on the sidelines. Shedeur stares the coach in the eye and asks, when do I get the ball? And that fire? That's exactly why the Ravens knew he was dangerous, and why the league can't stop talking about him. The Ravens knew the truth. Feeding Shedeur's hunger could ignite their entire franchise overnight. Meanwhile, Cleveland fans are out here grumbling, insisting their coaching staff has a plan.
Like, we have to understand, like, it's not like the old days where guys just, oh, well, if I get drafted, great, good, no matter what the situation is. No, these players are thinking now, like, well, you know what? Lamar, two-time MVP, their play style, how they call plays and their offense, is that a fit for me? No, not really. At least with the Browns, he has a shot. At least Joe Flacco gets pulled for not winning games or not producing or whatever. Dylan Gabriel goes in there and stinks it up or whatever.
Yeah, and I've got a plan to retire at 35 on a private island sipping coconuts. Doesn't mean it's happening. If your so-called plan doesn't involve giving one of the most electric quarterbacks in football a real shot on the field, then it's not a plan, it's sabotage. Cleveland is that person who buys a Ferrari just to lock it in the garage while they keep cruising around in a rusty minivan. Make it make sense. If Shedeur was unleashed, the playbook would have his fingerprints smeared across every page. Defenses would lose sleep just thinking about facing him. Highlight reels would be nothing but Sanders to the end zone clips, playing on repeat until the commentators ran out of adjectives. The Ravens were ready to do what Cleveland refuses to. They were set to build around him, crown him the centerpiece, and hand him the one thing money can't buy: trust. That's the real prize. Not just the bag, not just the headlines, but that unshakable belief that says you can lead this team right now. And here's the best part. Shedeur's refusal to settle is exactly what separates him from the pack. He's not just chasing clout, he's not just chasing checks, he's chasing impact, legacy, and history. That's the mindset that terrifies his haters because it means every snap is personal.
For the Browns, then the Baltimore Ravens. That is the story that's coming out about Shedeur Sanders right now. And it's technically not that he would rather play for the Browns, but he didn't want to be drafted by the Baltimore Ravens because it wasn't going to give him an opportunity to play. And I've been sitting here thinking, what do I think about that? Do I think that he should have gone to the Baltimore, which is obviously a superior team in every single way, has a chance to go to the Super Bowl, or be drafted by a team where he has a chance to play, which means that team has no starting caliber quarterback and is likely not going anywhere near the playoffs and haven't been to the playoffs.
Every time he touches the ball, it's another silent, "I told you so." And every touchdown, it's a dagger straight into the narrative that he was crazy for demanding more. Shedeur doesn't need to scream it. His game is already screaming for him. And let's be real. The Ravens would have been that instant impact squad, the perfect setup where Shedeur could have walked in, grabbed the offense by the throat, and stamped his name on it from day one. But instead, here we are, Cleveland keeping him in shackles, the Ravens licking their wounds, and the haters screaming themselves hoarse like it's going to change anything. And through it all, Shedeur looks like the calmest man alive, because he knows the truth. His time is coming, whether Cleveland wants it or not. And when it does, the entire NFL will regret not giving him the respect and the snaps he demanded from day one. That's not just a quarterback making a choice. That's a quarterback rewriting the rule book in real time. Shedeur Sanders isn't here for sidelines. He isn't here for excuses. And he definitely isn't here to hear about Cleveland's tired plan. He wants the ball in his hands, the field under his feet, and the chance to prove what everyone with eyes already knows. He's built for this. And the second he lands with the team bold enough to hand him that opportunity without hesitation. The haters won't just be fuming. They'll be begging for mercy as he torches their doubts one touchdown at a time. Now, if you've been rocking with me this far, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.